The third aspect of working with your virtual assistant is the cultural perspective. And under cultural perspective, we have things to think about, such as recruitment, the selection of your VA, and communicating with your VA and your VA's motivation, as well as thinking about retention. Okay. So I just want to make it clear that cultural perspective has nothing to do with being politically correct, okay? This is about making smart decisions in your business, okay? What do I mean by that? For example, with selection and recruitment, it's knowing which questions to ask to choose the right candidate. I posted on LinkedIn a week or so ago. I am happy to give everyone a copy of the interview questions that you should be asking your Filipino virtual assistant, okay? Because we have not so much mannerisms, but mindsets and perspective in life that means that when you, as a person with a British background or a Western culture, you don't realize that this is happening in their heads, and this might make it really difficult to work with them as a virtual assistant for your property investment strategy business. Now, I'm not saying, but of course, what it feels like I'm saying now is that don't hire Filipinos. Not at all. What I'm basically saying is understand what's going on in their heads, and therefore you can work with it, or you can at least select the candidates that will avoid these problems for you, okay? Communication. As I mentioned earlier, make it a standard operating procedure, okay? Don't make it an option where the VA has to find it in her or him to have the courage and to overcome their shyness and whatever else it is that as a Filipino, they have it in their head not to speak up, okay? I'm not here to try and explain why we're like this, but that's what they are. But if you make it into a standard operating procedure, that means there's no question involved. This is what we do every Monday. This is what we do every Friday, okay? We have this team huddle, for as an example, okay? And everyone gets to speak up. And so it's not a case of we're singling out one person over the other, okay? Motivation. It's knowing what drives great performance, because happy equals productive. I'm not going to say that there's one overarching cultural background for motivation for Filipinos, but I'm probably just going to suggest that it would be a good idea to just, as a general rule, whether you're hiring Filipinos or hiring British people or hiring people from India, just find out what it is that can motivate them, okay? And finally, retention. And I'm going to admit the uncomfortable truth of disappearing VAs, specifically Filipino VAs. Now, this is a case of people rushing in to hire VAs and not understanding what can trigger this disappearance, okay? Now, I've mentioned that Filipinos, for example, don't say no when you give them work. They literally will say yes to whatever it is that you're going to give them. I mean, I'm not even kidding you. They will just say yes, even if it's something they have no idea how to do, that they will find too difficult, or that they will that will be too much on their plate, and you'll get VAs that are stressed, VAs that are or not challenged enough or challenged too much. So this is why it's so important to have and understand the cultural aspect of hiring someone from a different country. Okay, I can only give you my perspective as a Filipina, and this is my these are my thoughts, anyhow, and I'd like to share them with you.